Drew Brees completed 32 of 39 passes for 288 yards and 2 touchdowns as the Saints won Super Bowl 34, 31-17 over Indianapolis, the first Super Bowl title in franchise history. And we are joined by the head coach of the Super Bowl champion New Orleans Saints, Sean Payton. Coach, does that introduction ever get old?
Well, I don't think it ever gets old, and certainly it's one of the goals you have is to win, a championship and to share it with your team, and in our case, with a fan base that's so passionate about their Saints, and I think that's what's the part of it that's most gratifying.
It was a great run, that is for sure, but it is time to start another. How difficult is it for you, is it for the team to actually turn the page and realize that in a couple months you're going to be 0-0 again?
I think it's important to study history, and I think it's important to study the challenges that teams have had after they've had success. And we've talked about it. We've challenged our players and our coaches alike. And I think having had that success, you begin to appreciate how special that moment is and how special the opportunity is to get into the postseason and compete for really a world championship. And there's so many players that have gone through their career never having been in a Super Bowl.
If you studied history, you don't need me to tell you this. As early as last year, the then Super Bowl defending champion Steelers did not even make the playoffs last year. As you go back and look at history, why do you think it is so difficult to repeat?
Well, I think your off season's much shorter. I think, number one, and I think it is a game in football specifically that there's a lot of attrition to a long season. Secondly, I think the challenges become more internal. When you have success, you have to deal with all the things that come with that. And that might be player contracts, that might be coaches' contracts, that might be specifically all the distractions that come with having a winning team. But I do think this team, this locker room, is ready for those challenges. And, the good news is in a month we're going to find out.
Do you have a biggest concern for the upcoming season?
I think most importantly is because our off season was shortened, is making sure that physically and mentally that we're in the right shape when the season starts. That we're not a team that suffers a lot of injuries. I think probably any coach this time of the year is most concerned. One of his big concerns is injury. And so, other than that, I like this team. I like the makeup of it.
Well, you have to like your quarterback, as Drew Brees has always been a statistical machine. Now he has the hardware to go with the numbers. What is it like to coach this fine quarterback?
Well, he's so competitive, and I think you start with that. And when you really look at his history, and not just with the Saints, but before that with San Diego, in college with Purdue, in high school at Austin Westlake, he's won wherever he's been. And I think he's got an extremely high will to win. He's going to do the extra things. He's going to work hard. He's going to be a perfectionist. And he's also got that unique ability to bring kind of the level of competition up around him. And he does that with our players as well as anyone I've seen.
As it seems, anyone that gets to the top of the mountain, they discover there are folks that will try to knock you off the top, both either on or off the field. Jeffrey Santee, the Saints' former security director, filed a lawsuit in August claiming that he was leaving, that he didn't want to cover up a Vicodin scandal, and he kind of implicated you in the case. What was your reaction when this all unfolded months after the happiest moment of your life?
I think, you get upset initially because you understand all the specifics surrounding it, and someone who wasn't a part of the success we had, and someone that it came to the club with a crazy demand for $2 million. And so your initial reaction as a coach, as someone that's involved and has really put all the time and energy and efforts that we have into the program, is to punch back or to shout back. And yet there's some specifics that are unique to this case, and it's really between Santini and the club. So other than that, I think it lasted for about 2.5 weeks, and then really, I think we got past it. And
did you feel that you had to say something to the players to kind of let them know that you weren't part of this?
Yeah. We had a chance to visit, and the players knew the dynamics, and yet there's some specifics that the players were well aware of, and I think that made it easy for us internally. But externally, far away from New Orleans, from a national standpoint, those were the things that you couldn't possibly reach out and talk to everyone about the specifics of it. And it was crazy. But, you know, again, it was something that, once again, and there's been a handful, you know, of potential distractions that we're not going to allow to be something to pull our team apart. And we've been able to handle that, and we're stronger for it.
Now to the good part is, and you win the Super Bowl, you get to write a book. And for Saints fans, it's called Home Team. It's right here. 295 pages of heaven in a hardcover for Saints fans. That's what I've been told. Heaven in a hardcover. That's a nifty little line there, Coach.
I think this, when we put the book together, you know, I don't know if it's necessarily heaven in a book cover, but I know what it isn't. And it's not coaches speak. It's not winning on the field or off the field. This is really 4 years from Katrina to the Super Bowl championship and everything in between, and from a little bit different perspective. And I think it's, I know it's entertaining. I know it's going to make you gulp. It's going to make you laugh. And a lot of times you're going to read it and say, "You're kidding me." And
give me an example, something that will really surprise the
I think just the nature of the background of an onside kick before the Super Bowl, and it's the specifics that went into that. It might be as simple as what we chose to do after a big win on the road during the regular season, and the pilot kind of rerouted our plane and went an hour and a half out of its way so we could have a late landing. And it's all these things that really that I could share with you, and this became an avenue to do that. And it was after the season.
Reach here and grab the book so they can see it here, but it is called The Home Team, and there's a good look at it. But so some real stories that actually happen. It's
nothing but real stories. There's not one point in this book where you're going to read it and say, well, that's what he sounds like when he gets interviewed by ESPN. This is the opposite of that. This is the passion of our community, but it's also the passion of a team and a region that really was an upstart following Katrina, and to the success at the very end of the season.
A franchise that, let's be frank, could have been on the move. And there were rumors, there was discussions that this franchise could be picked up and moved to a different city. Katrina happens, it stays.
In the book.
The city rallies around it.
You bet.
What was it like to be a part of, to feel that passion that maybe no team has ever felt before?
Well, it starts with, the actual first chapter starts with that Super Bowl parade. And in New Orleans, they obviously have Mardi Gras parades, but it deals with the ending, if you will, and then goes back through, you know, how we arrived there. And it deals with some specifics regarding the organization. It deals with specifics regarding our players and what we were looking for to win, and how we were able to do that, you know, together. And it's not, you know, was very guarded initially with the idea of doing a book, but this was a story that was, I thought it was unique. And if you and I were together 4 hours at an airport delayed, I don't know that I'd get through it all, but I'd start.
Okay. Well, this book kind of it tells you how you got to this point. But 5 years ago, ESPN the magazine for years now has done the ultimate standings, which it ranks all the professional sports teams together. And 5 years ago, Coach, the Saints were dead last, the worst franchise in professional sports, baseball, hockey, basketball, and the NFL. As of today, ESPN the magazine is releasing that the Saints are now #1. A commitment to community, championship play, good prices, which comes into it. But what kind of honor is that for you, that your team, when you're talking the Yankees and the Lakers here, the New Orleans Saints, #1 professional sports franchise?
Well, I think it's a credit to everyone in the building. And when they came to take the picture, ESPN magazine, and really announce that ranking, we had a chance really to slap everyone on the back. You know, everyone from, you know, who cooks, who cleans, to who sells the tickets, to who coaches and plays. You know, it starts with our ownership, and it was really the journey of changing a culture and starting something new.
Well, I'm going to have to end the interview now, Coach, because the ring is blinding me. The diamonds are just too bright.
Too bright.
That is an impressive ring nonetheless. But congratulations on the Super Bowl.
Thank you.
Best of luck in the upcoming season, and best of luck with the book as
well.
You bet.
Thank you.
John Payton, Saints head coach.